He has the better claim to the throne.
Every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a
The
coin.
Mad King gave his enemies the justice he thought they deserved.
Children are not their fathers.
Be a dragon.
You have a gentle heart.
Targaryen, alone in the world. It's a terrible thing.
You don't want to wake the dragon, do you?
Welcome back, Throne fans, to Throne Theories. This video will explore the contested final episode of Game of Thrones and explain some of the more subtle symbols used by the writers to portray how dark the character of Daenerys Targaryen became by the end. Some of the images presented were reminiscent of Dark Queens in other stories, particularly when Dany gains dragon wings. This image is obviously pointing to the fact that Dany is now a full-on Dragon Queen. She's dark, dangerous, and even disastrously deadly. We can see the carnage in the background, and she looks like a tyrant as she walks out. She shows also very little emotion, particularly when Jon asks,
Have you been down there? Have you seen children, little children, burned?
We must also consider how demonic the wings make her look. It's like a version of Satan. The wings are hellish, dark and red, so they illustrate the tyrannical position she's attempting to take via blood. Moreover, the image is an immediate foreshadowing of her imminent death. Providing her with ethereal wings like a demon is suggestive of the afterlife. Clearly, the image is also heavily emblematic of other characters like Maleficent. Another interesting image used is at the end. A huge pile of snow covers Drogon as he hides beneath. Jon approaches the throne room and Drogon uncovers himself. Drogon is an extension of Daenerys. He was born in her rebirth pyre. He senses when danger approaches and shakes the snow from his body. The fact that he's completely covered by it symbolises how Dany's flame would be extinguished by snow. Again, this is a great use of foreshadowing of her certain death, which almost immediately follows. Finally, the burning of the throne has been deemed by some as an act of random and unintentional grief. However, I would argue that this is definitely not what the writers of the show wanted to present. The randomness comes just before Having realised for me that it was the throne that ultimately killed her, Drogon lashes out at it, intentionally and intelligently destroying it. He only actually stops in this scene once it's completely obliterated. If it was just a random act of grief, then why show the randomness just prior to a precision targeting? My theory is that he was infuriated by it. He knew that that throne was everything she'd fought and died for. He burns it because he wants to avenge her death. Likewise, he must have even understood that killing her was necessary, otherwise an unintelligent creature would have burned Jon alive. This would have tested his diluted Targaryen blood for sure. So it wasn't mindless in my view. He's so intelligent that he takes her body with him. They're not so loyal to Targaryens that they wouldn't try to burn them. In A Dance of Dragons, Drogon almost burns Dany alive in the pits. We don't get to see this in the show, but she has to jump out of the way to save her life. We obviously know that that wouldn't kill her anyway, but it stands to reason that he would have burned Jon, even if he thought that he was at fault. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Valar Morghulis.